Leslie, so this is really coming together for you. This image that you had, I think we've seen this from the beginning, but we've seen this girl from the beginning, but I'm not sure if we saw this shot from the beginning. They're just such solid images of her. So coming in with an image like this works well. It really lets us know what this series is about. And then I'm assuming the way that you would want to set this up, though it's hard for me to tell with the PDF, is that you would not have these images facing each other, but rather you'd have them each on their own individual page. So we would have a blank page to the left here, and then on the right we'd see this image, and then this image would stand alone. And I think if that's not what you were thinking, I think that it's a better approach for your work because each of these images alone are so individually strong that we don't want to get like overwhelmed by them and not give them the time that they deserve. Sometimes you might have images that really balance each other out. And perhaps like this image might complement this image, and then you have them side by side and they're working together, and the intent is to show them together. But without that, like without the intent of these two images are working together and making each other stronger, then I would just have them on single pages. Right now, this particular image falls out because it's the only image that's a detail shot, and it just doesn't match everything else. Everything else is a portrait. But I think it would be fine for you to add more images like this in of these details. And you've talked about that before. And I know it's a tricky time to get models, so it might be a way for you to fill in this portfolio a little bit more, though I think you do have 15 images here. But it would allow you to have more images if you wanted to do some of the detail shots, especially of some of the fabrics and necklaces and whatnot. So we've seen this image, and like these two images, if you were having them side by side, that would make sense. Again, here you're shifting the color like we saw on the girl's chin that's later on in this series. But here it feels more intentional that you want that color cast on it, where with the girl's chin it didn't feel as intentional. And I thought that more of your images had like more than one color that you are working with. So I'm not sure if that's something you want to revisit. This, I think, would also be a very good image to start or finish on. It's a very strong, symmetrical statement kind of image for you. But if you're going to have it like one on one side and one on the other side, these two would be the ones that would work together again, right? All right, so we've seen this image, and then this image. It looks like it's a little less yellow. It's hard to tell on this PDF. We have that. We've seen this. And then we've seen these images. So when I had talked to you earlier today, I had thought that no, we're going to need to have more images that are shot outdoors in natural light. But because you're kind of finishing with these, and the colors from this, having this warmer and then moving into this image, work okay for me to just switch into this these outdoor shoots, and those can work fine at the end. So it's easier for me to go through the images. That's what's required for this. But looking at this, we have a good idea of the new images that you have. They're solid images. I don't think you necessarily need to shoot more outdoors, though it could work with it, right? You could go either way on it. I don't think it's as essential as I thought it was when I was talking to you on the phone earlier. And then if you're going to include this detail shot, I would include more of these because that one alone seems very lonely. But if you're to include images like a detail of this necklace, or there's another necklace that's so interesting that she wears also, yeah, this, or even just like getting close and showing the rope around her waist, those sort of things could be detail shots that you kind of fill in the portfolio with. There's another necklace. So there's lots of details in here that you could pull out. But this is coming together really well. This is the one image right here that I still feel like it falls out. It doesn't have the strength of the other images. And I think it just is because it has more of a modern vibe to it, and everything else feels more traditional to your culture, but traditional in an older sense, opposed to this feeling very like newly introduced, right, to your culture. So I understand that this is still cultural, as is this, but this specifically, I know the tutu is a little bit different, but this feels like it's been around for years and has more of an impact than something like this, where I feel like tourists could go and buy that within Hawaii. So just be aware of that with this image. Otherwise, I think you're coming together really well. And I think the switch of moving from all studio and then switching all the way into all outdoors, I think making just a drastic switch there is your best bet right now, opposed to trying to mix them in together.